Omoke Adebanjo, Senior Vice President, Merchants and Commerce, EEMEA, Mastercard. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here at Economy Middle East. I'll get right into it. First of all, according to a Mastercard study globally, 79% of consumers agree that they prefer to shop at stores with both online and offline presence. How is that impacting both commerce and e-commerce for you over at Mastercard and globally?
Thank you for that question. I would say what's happening is that it's increasing the pace at which omnichannel is coming to be. Because, and I'll take a quick minute to benchmark what we're talking about when we say omnichannel, so we're on the same page, to say that from our perspective, my perspective certainly, omnichannel is not only having different channels, so online, offline, mobile, it is making sure that the customer journey across all these channels is consistent, it's immersive, they have a good experience whether they're in store, and it's almost as if it's fluid. It's like one journey together. I'll describe it that way. So I've said all that to go back to your question and say the fact that consumers are saying, I would rather shop in a store that has both online and offline. It's pointing to the fact that consumers are going back and forth before making one shopping purchase. Sometimes it's at home, online, and then going into the store to touch the fabric and pick up the item. Not that they needed to go to the store to pick it up, but it just shows that human beings like choice, the ability to get what they want, how they want it, when they want it. The second one you could say is people going in store, but then going online when they're in store to check reviews, to check, different things, compare, etc. So all this shows that people want that flexibility, and that flexibility is just accelerating the pace for omnichannel. So the short answer to that question would be that what we see, it's accelerating all the thinking, processes, procedures, definition of customer journey, personalization, technologies that surround omnichannel, just making it faster. But that's a good thing. It's a good thing because finally we understand that it's not either offline or online. It's not a battle. I know many years ago, I was reading some article from, I think 19 years ago or something, that said e-com would eat the lunch of physical. Well, in a lot of ways that is true if you look at the acceleration of e-commerce, but physical it's there and it's not, it might morph in the way people engage with physical, but it's there, it's not going away. So it's not either or, it's both when I want it as a consumer, more like.
Wonderful, thank you very much. And I think GITEX this year is a proof that we do like human interaction, and this is really a part of our life. And it seems like you at Mastercard, you have it all figured out for for both online and offline. So I'll move on to the next one. There is so much digital noise in the world of retail. How is Mastercard helping its customers keep up with today's hyper-connected customers?
I would answer this question with something I mentioned earlier, personalization. One of the ways we're helping. So a question is interesting when it describes this as digital noise, but it is true. There's a lot that is being pushed towards the consumer. So what you want is the quality of the message that gets to me as a consumer to be the right one that will make me action. And even when I take action, you are sure that the channel you're pushing me towards will be able to receive me properly. So I really would like to talk about a little bit about what we do with personalization at Mastercard and dynamic yield. Not tooting our horn or anything, but dynamic yield, being one of our companies, has been rated by Gartner as the top in the world for personalization services 5 years in a row, this year inclusive. And what is it doing? It's helping in the more online than offline space, but it's helping with the messaging that you as a business you're sending to me. Taking a lot of understanding of the data that we have access to and in partnership with all the people that we partner with, and all the artificial intelligence knowledge that we possess as Mastercard to tailor, I think that's the way to describe it, to tailor the right message to me at the right time, and ensuring that I will be placed to be able to, at least better placed to be able to consummate a transaction. So I would say that is one of the things we're doing regarding, in quotes, air quotes, digital noise in that space, amongst other things.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that. And then I'll move on to the panel session that you had, the omni-channel way, paving a new path for e-commerce. Can you please share a few insights and takeaways from that session?
Okay. So that was a very interesting session. For those that missed it, you had Mastercard, you had technology companies that were in the space of redefining the consumer experience. You had a physical retail store, and you had a design school. So the thoughts were very varied and across board. So the thoughts I will share really would be not necessarily only my thoughts, but speaking for the team. So some of the things we said was, believe it or not, about ESG. So you had a perspective coming through to say, what technologies are we in the omnichannel world thinking about as different participants to help circular fashion, to help the rental fashion business, which is an interesting topic that could come out of this. You had someone like me, of course, talking about the customer journey, the definition of the customer journey, why it's important. And even though omnichannel does not mean that physical and digital blend together, it does mean that there is a consistent experience that you want the consumer to carry through as they go into these different touch points, so that it's not that when they're online with you, it's a fantastic experience, but when they come into your stores, it's something different. So that was one of the things that came through. It was also about collaboration. It was a lot about Web3. And Web3, I want to underscore a little, because when people think of Mastercard, first thing that comes to your mind is payment. And what, we'd like people to know, the reality of Mastercard today is that, yes, payments would always be there, but beyond payments. The conversations we're having with our partners, speaking about myself, is a lot about the metaverse and what's happening in the metaverse. It's about how we can reimagine commerce within the metaverse. It's about circular fashion within the metaverse and other interesting things like that, digital ID, etc. So, of course, all that came through at the panel. Thank you.
I have one last one for you. It's the importance of Mastercard maintaining a balance between online and offline shopping, and how that kind of looks for you moving forward.
That's another interesting question, and I would say, actually, it's the consumer that determines that balance. Mastercard's role, as with all our partners, is to make sure that whenever you want a service or a product, however you want a product or a service, we do our best to make sure you have a consistent experience. The consumer actually determines that balance, because what we're seeing is the numbers changing. We're seeing more e-com, but physical is still a lot. And then we're seeing people do, what we described at the beginning, a combination of e-com and physical, etc. That balance, it's not created by anyone in the middle. Our job is to facilitate, and we are facilitating with, speaking for Mastercard now, consulting in the loyalty space. We're facilitating with personalization and our platforms. We are making sure that technology is available. A host of other partners are playing their part in that space. But what finally determines that balance is how consumers change, and how they become more familiar with one channel over the other, and eventually some sort of balance, which will not be equal across board, which will depend on the part of the world you are in, the age range of who you are speaking to, the gender of who you are speaking to. So balance in question to be determined by the consumers, but our role is to make sure that whatever channel you want, you're served consistently.
Wonderful, Omoke, Adebanjo. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here at Economy Middle East, and thank you for the wonderful insights you've shared with us. And we'll see you next time. Okay. Thank you very much.